Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pavs, a racing VTuber and artist, and today we're going to be working on an illustration to celebrate the new year. Now, as you may have heard of in the news, or perhaps Wikipedia googled yourself like I did, this next year actually has a theme, right? Okay, so Chinese Zodiac, 12-year pattern. This next 2023, for the majority of it, will be in the year of the rabbit. And more specifically, because apparently like the zodiac also cycles through the different elements, we're going to be in the year of the water rabbit, which is a pretty interesting concept. So I kind of, besides like imagining, I don't know, a rabbit wearing perhaps some manner of, I don't know, swimwear. I'm imagining those like little inflatable buoys that you can attach to children so that they can float easily. I kind of wanted to work on an illustration with that concept, so let's get right into it and head over to the working screen. All right, here we go. And I'm actually going to try something new today, yeah. It's come to my attention that, hang on, and I'm going to try to figure out how I can do this in a way that doesn't make me have to listen to it also. I don't know why, I've gotten very used to streaming in silence to the point that I feel like if I have music that's not like diegetic, like from a video game coming on, I'm going to be distracted while I work. Anyway, I've done a little bit of a playing around, and now I can play music from the VLC media player application, which will, I chose royalty-free tracks. I chose some royalty-free Creative Commons YouTube playlists, and those are going to be in the stream while it's running. They will not appear in the VOD. You're going to hear dead radio silence. Because I feel like, in retrospect, making just one song, the song that's in the background for every single one of my videos forever, might be a bit of an unduly cruel move on my part. But yeah, hopefully now we'll have a little bit of something more calm, more varied at least, to listen to. Yeah, if anybody has like recommendations for like I was about to say like duty-free playlists. I mean royalty-free playlists or Creative Commons playlists that they want to share with me. Let me know and I'll take a look into those and hopefully maybe incorporate those into the stream at some point. Now, the mock-up I did for this drawing was slightly based on Hanafuda cards. Rabbits do not appear in Hanafuda cards to begin with. Yeah, I feel like that's worth mentioning. Rabbits, I do not believe appear in Hanafuda cards, but they do appear in nature. Sometimes you have to add a little dramatic pause, right? When you say something dumb, I feel like most of the time you can save it if you add a little bit of a dramatic pause there, You have to try something at least. I wanted to do this in like what that line art style that has like, one single width of line, but I'm not sure what width would be appropriate. I'm thinking 10 might actually be a little too thick. I think it might be just right, though. That or we can go lineless eventually, but I think for the moment we'll try to do line, like 10 width for the line art. And I think the first step is probably going to be using, and hang on here. The first step here is probably going to be using, actually, the music's a little low. I think it's just, I'm going to try not to let it bother me. The thing that trips me up the most about including new music in the, in the stream, isn't just the prospect of like getting the DMCA thing. This is also like a test stream, by the way, for that. It is making sure that I did a test stream earlier. Congratulations to you if you caught that somehow. It literally lasted all of 1 minute, and I immediately deleted it after I confirmed. But if you somehow managed to become if you are at the right place at the right time, you would have seen it. Let's see here. But yeah, I want to try and figure out a way that I can maybe use OBS itself as a playlist some way or another, because essentially what I did is that I went in to YouTube and I googled lo-fi royalty free, and I've filtered for all the playlists that were in the Creative Commons just to be double sure. and then I acquired those in such a way that I could play them through an application. And now I just got those running in the VLC player in the background. That's kind of the convoluted ass method that I use to do this. It certainly might not be the best method. I feel like I should make this thing taller. Hang on. Canvas settings, canvas size. Just like a little bit taller like this. There we go. Yeah, I am certain that I'll find like a better way to do it eventually, but for the moment, this will at least solve the problem of like the song playing over and over. I talked to a couple of my friends about this change before I implemented it. You know, I was very excited about it. I was telling them, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to be able to play something other than that one track. And they're like, oh, cool, that's great. It was getting a little grating, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's the point of why I did this. And okay, so little fun fact. The way that I've been playing music through OBS so far is that I went to the site that does this for the past few months. It's been this website called Aeronautics, and with an X, and I got the file of the song from there. And you know, if you take a look at my VOD channel on YouTube, you can actually see that I say like, oh yeah, credit to this person for the music. Yeah, I think the two tracks, one of them's still up for the starting soon screen. Like that one hasn't changed. I might change it eventually. But yeah, for the starting soon screen and the desk screen, the just chatting screen, those were by Aeronautics. They're called, I think, respectively, Bride's Ballad and One Fine Day. And hang on, I need to have like the fun thing about like illustrations. I'm gonna grab a couple of references that I had lying around in here. This picture of these two rabbits is actually quite funny to me. Like, these guys are fucking these rabbits are kung fu fighting, and that's radical. These guys are just playing leapfrog. Perhaps not so radical. And then there's also these guys. So I think like my idea is that I'm gonna grab like this guy right here. Yeah, I think this was supposed to be like a bush rabbit or something. I don't remember the exact name of it. Yeah. White rabbit candies. If you know, you know what these are. If you know what these are, you know what these are. Let's see. Like I said, it feels weird working with music, and this is kind of like circling back around to the story that I was telling earlier. I told my friends this. I play music through OBS by literally dropping the file in as a source. I don't get to listen to the music itself. Like, I've been subjecting y'all to listening to the same track for a little over under 12 months. I'm not sure how long it's been since I started playing that track, but it's been a minute. And you know, I asked them, was it really that bad? And they were like, yes, I either learned to tune you to tune in only to your voice, or to just tune out the music. So my sincerest apologies for everything. I'm sorry. But yeah, now we've got a little bit more variety. I mean, the people listening to the pod will listen to like dead silence. Like, they will still hear like, you know, knowing now what I know about the like how tolerable. Okay, that is the other leg. You can't really see the tail here, but that's fine. We can we can work that in another time, another way. Banui. All right, make this sucker nice and big. All right, and the way that I was picturing this, right, is I could do a little something something and actually grab and So yeah, we've got another one of them right here, actually. And I actually kind of like the way that this guy's moving a little bit better. So I'm just going to grab him real quick. Yeah. I've also started doing a couple other things to make sure that I can keep stuff fresh around here, you know. I've been, I talk sometimes about how I have this daily newsletter that I get with some business news. I've been trying to diversify on that a little bit. You know, I'm going to try and find a couple more things that I can report in on. Hopefully it'll be fun. Let's see here. There we go. There we go. Okay, just slightly shaving that off. I love extracting like animals and things from PNGs because it feels like I'm like, I don't know how to put it. I feel like I was destined to be one of those like machines that can, I don't know if these exist. So it's a satisfying feeling I get from doing this. It requires a lot of careful effort and it takes a minute, but if I'm not in a hurry, I find the process super enjoyable. But yeah, because of it, I always wondered if I wasn't destined to become like one of those people who like hand makes books and would have to like cut the pages themselves with a large machine or some kind of I don't know. I really like old school machines that just require you to fucking brute force the task that you're doing. Like I really like button makers, for example, like pin makers or button machines, because like they make you feel like you've worked for it. They, you know, it's not only fun to like, you know, exert a bit of your physical strength every now and again, right? Because that's always a nice fun thing to do, is like just, you know, give yourself a good 1 or 2 minutes to go just absolutely full strength, teeth clenched, white knuckle gripping on whatever task you're doing. Like I do believe that sincerely doing that kind of like shonen style exertion every now and again for yourself is actually very healthy. It's a little bit like screen therapy in that regard. In my perspective, it's a little bit like scream therapy. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially going out to the middle of the woods and just screaming as loud as you can for a good 10 to 12, or actually for as long as you need, I think would be a better rule of thumb. You just go out there and you scream for as long as you need to feel better. And then once you feel better, you like, you know, you've kind of like gotten it all out, so to speak. Okay, so my main focal point was going to be the center of the image. I think I'm going to add like a frame, right? A white frame to this. First, I need to make sure that the rabbit won't interrupt the white frame. I think I can probably... The other thing as well, right, is that I want to have the rabbit's tail be a little bit further up on its butt. I'm not an expert on rabbit biology, but I'm sure that it looks more like a rabbit if its tail's like up here, right? Blue rabbit. Is blue rabbit the name of anything? I feel like I've heard the name blue rabbit before. Blue rabbit. No, okay, it doesn't seem to be the name out of anything. I don't know why. I feel like blue rabbit was the name of something. But yeah, this is all to say that I'm going to probably color this rabbit blue. It's a cruel fate to be a rabbit who has tragically fallen into a vat of blue paint and now hops across a nondescript background. But we all have our lots in life. Blue bunny ice cream, not exactly blue rabbit. Huh. All right, let me check that out. Blue bunny ice cream. Huh. Oh, they're under Ferrero Rocher now. How about that? Well, I mean, the logo, they have good ice cream. The good news is that if I may bring your attention to the Blue Bunny logo. Hang on. The rabbit in the rabbit depicted in the middle of this is technically still white, so I have not committed a copyright infringement. The rice wins yet again. That's a hi, Kepler. Okay, so rabbit there, and I feel like the ears need to be a little bit higher up on the skull too. Let's see. That's not the right layer, is it? Let's try that again. It is weird, right, that we can edit animals to look more like themselves. Like animals in their natural habitat don't really look like themselves all that much, I feel. You know, we have like these iconicized ideas of what animals look like, but they're not really like that. This rabbit seems to be having a time of it. I don't want to make this a natural animals don't look like animals. I do want this to be. Hang on. I do feel like there is too much white space here, right? So I am wondering if there's no way to maybe have something go on here. Oh, maybe. How are you? I'm doing quite well, thank you. Oh, I know. Half the year. Big brain moment. Here we go. There we go. And maybe some sparkles up here too. It's been a while since I've done one of like these art-centric streams, right? That feels like a weird thing to say. It's been a while since I've done one of these streams where like it's not specifically like fan art or art for a larger project. It's just like making an illustration piece. I feel like it's been a while since I've made one of these. Yeah, between hopping on the Blender bandwagon for October and I don't remember what I did in December. I think I was a little busy with an exam that I had to take. Huh. Come to think of it, I should be getting the results for that exam soon. They do take their sweet time grading them, though. Yeah, okay, I think we've got something here. I don't know, I feel like this part here feels a little empty. Tests and exams suck. That they do. But yeah, I feel like this bottom half is a little bit empty. Maybe more bubbles? Yeah, okay. I do wonder if it's the right move to maybe have. Okay, so I really want this one to be kind of like all the way over here, right? But I'm not sure if I want this other one to be that way. Or maybe I can even have like all of them, almost like a picture frame kind of deal going on. Somehow that makes it look like we're having a funeral for the rabbit. Well, I'll figure it out or I won't. I think first things first, we need to actually get started on this thing. I think we can start with the border first. Let's see here. All right, let's shrink this down by 100 pixels. Maybe 150 would be more appropriate. 150 pixels. No, that's too much. There we go. That's a nice balance. All right, we'll do this. And we can always change the color on this, but I wanted to have like this kind of like yellowish white on the outside. I don't know why. I feel like that would be a good match for... Hang on. I gotta make a symmetry ruler right here. The good thing with symmetry rulers is that, why is it like that? Why is it spun around like that? Get yourself at 0 degrees, my boy. Alright, anyway, okay, this thing is 5,688 pixels tall. Why? Okay, I remember why. It's because I expanded it. Okay, so 5,688 divided by 2, that is 2,200. No, that is 2,844. All right, and then center X, that's 3,500. That is 1750. Yeah, 1750. There we go. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that it's important to like work out your... No, that's not quite right. Maybe like here? Yeah, that feels a little less intrusive, but also not quite at the same amount that I want. Maybe just at the rounded edges like that. I think that might be a little less intrusive. Oh, actually, I've got an idea. So instead of having the lines up here, right, we're going to have them... Okay, we're going to get those guys out of there. And we're instead going to have like an effect where it's going to kind of filter into this star thing. Or sparkle thing. Reminds me of a stamp or a card from a card deck with the corner circles. That's not a bad thing. It's a good vibe for it to match. I don't know why, but I always associate like the beginning of the new year with, more like boring stuff like that. Very mundane stuff. Or I feel like this should have that sort of vibe. No, having them that close together is a bad idea, just like this. I think this one can be the only one that has like... Ooh, wait, what about like... I just think of going back to school from winter break. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's just... Oops. I need to remember not to like accidentally nick any of the rabbit here. Let's see here. I was thinking about something. Oh yeah, I was talking about earlier how I was trying to find different new like sources for the stuff I talk about on stream. Fun fact: one of the ones that I found was this newsletter called Coffee Break, or like Morning Coffee, or something like that, or Morning Brew, something to do with coffee. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely more of a summer guy myself. I definitely enjoy the summer more than I enjoy the winter. But yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, everybody has like some stuff, right, that kind of prevents them from making future plans. It's important to be able to know what you can do now and what you can do in the future. Okay, yeah, I think we're definitely cooking with something here. Having like a more kind of like light beam effect from right here. But yeah. I remember there was speaking of which, I remember there was this idea, right? The 5 of 25 method. The idea is that you wrote down like 25 things that either you're really good at or that you really wanted to do, and then choose your top 5 from that to focus on. Because while you can like, it's there's no such thing as a bad idea when it comes to like diversifying your skill set. But if you keep practicing different things and never really focus on one, or never really build up enough skill in one section, it's going to be difficult. Forgetting and focus messes up most of my plans. Well, that's a difficult situation. I think eventually people end up figuring out what they can do, though. Yeah, that's a funny thing, right? Like, hang on. Do we actually need the little circles on the sides? I don't actually see them helping anything, right? Like, I don't see them actually assisting with anything when it's like this. I'm gonna get rid of them for now. Okay. And rasterize this layer too, so I don't get it mixed up. ¿Cómo es que se llama esta cosa? Sketch. Let's see. I'm not sure which thing I should draw first, right? Because I've got. Actually, first let's draw this kind of buoy thing that we've got here. One thing I've planned hasn't fallen through, and I've been working on it for like a year, which is amazing compared to the things I usually plan to do. No, it's always satisfying when a long-term project works out. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to try something new, which was trying to go, okay, 0, 0, 0, 100. I'm going to try and draw, instead of using like, hang on, hold up. There's something off about this. 100, hue 0. Key black 100. 0, 0, 0. Okay, that is super weird. I'm trying to draw using key black, but I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. Only bad part is I'm nowhere where I was hoping to be by now on the project. Yeah. Well, what's done is done, right? Right now, the only thing you can focus on is trying to maintain that growth. It's still frustrating, though. I get that. Yeah, that's a funny thing about, like, I've been taking a lot of these courses recently, right? I've been taking a lot of these. I'm gonna need to increase the stabilization on this by like a lot. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of these like wellness courses, right? And overwhelmingly, what I've found is that they don't make you feel better. They make you better at handling bad situations, or like better at handling sucky situations, which is an important skill in and of itself. But like, there's no escaping the fact that you're going to feel bad for a second. Like, it will feel bad, but your brain will eventually recognize that that bad feeling isn't that all that's going to be there. And that's when you can start doing your work. Still, it isn't particularly pleasant sometimes. But life goes on. Oh, yeah, I was talking about this newsletter that I found the other day. Apparently, there was a hang on. There was a okay, so there was a fire in a factory in Wisconsin, right? Which is bad. Nobody got hurt, which is good. The fire was at a butter factory, which quickly changed the trajectory of this event from terrifying and heartbreaking to somewhat comedic, quite honestly, because the thing about the fire is that, like, naturally they got the fire crew to come in and be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put out the fire. But the problem is that because they were at the butter factory, what ended up happening is that they ended up having to wade through like 3 inches of melted butter on the stairwell to where they needed to put out the fire. It was really difficult. And the mental image of these poor firefighters trying to just fight for their lives, just trying to get through this butter, is honestly just it's quite something. 3 inches of melted butter, though. Can you imagine the greasiness, the slipperiness? Okay, let's see here. I need to figure out like the best angle to draw these things. I've never been good at drawing like sparklies like this. I know some people who can make some really good sparklies. Yeah, I'm still learning new tricks and tips to draw these things. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, the other thing that I've been learning recently, right? God. Yeah, besides that like idea of like, okay, yeah, this isn't gonna like solve your problems, but it's going to mentally equip you to be better at solving your problems. The other thing that I've been learning about is like circadian rhythms, right? So there is like a difference between like whether you're a morning person or like an evening person, and it doesn't just depend on your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is something that you can eventually kind of wrangle hold of, right? Like it's something that you can eventually learn to control. Well, not control so much as like influence. You can influence your circadian rhythm. But further down beneath your circadian rhythm, there is actually this thing called a chronotype. And that is kind of what determines whether you're a night person or a morning person. And unfortunately, your chronotype is rather fixed. But yeah, you can influence your circadian rhythm, but not your chronotype, which I think is honestly the worst possible news. Because I don't. Apparently, it takes 6 or so weeks to get used to a new sleep schedule, and I do wonder, like, when they were looking up that statistic, they looked up how easy it was to fall out of a sleep schedule. Because depending on that response, I feel like there might be some issues with that math. At least personally for me. Hmm. I prefer night and afternoon, and usually more productive at that time. Yet my body forces me to get up early. Yeah, that might mean like your chronotype. Your chronotype is for an early bird, but like your circadian rhythms are just out of whack. Again, funny thing about that. It tells you what's wrong with you. It doesn't really tell you like it doesn't really help much. But hey, now you know, right? Let's see now. Hmm. These guys need to be moved a little bit further down. No, that's a little bit too far down. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. Now let's try to get the rest of these in order too. Okay, I think this one will be. We can handle this one with a circle. Four in the morning to work on a project? Jeez. Yeah, I think the funny part about it is that they're confused about why you're up that late, but also if they received your message, that means that they were probably up that late. That or they need to learn how to turn off their notifications on the phone. Ooh, that's way too simplified. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know when I learned to turn off my notifications for literally everything, but I do know that my life has improved much since I have taken that decision. I will read your message later. Oh, they see it when they wake up in the morning. Ah, okay, maybe like right around here. We'll snip that off. All right, let's redraw this circle here. Here we go. Okay, then the next part is probably going to be... Actually, let's drag this around over to here. Here we go. If my body forces me to wake up early when I don't want to be and can't go back to bed, I'm planning out my project at least if I can't think of a game to play. Hmm. Well, your studies are important after all. Yeah, the reason I started streaming is mainly because I found that it helps me to stay engaged with my hobbies a little better. Let's see here. Maybe this one should also like droop off to the side like this. Have a full bleed effect. Oh, something happened there. Okay, then I think that I think the next challenge is actually making sure that this part here. Oh, is this all connected? Uh-oh. Hold up. Hang on, there maybe like this? What is this? Hang on. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's another fun thing that's come around due to the recent changes that I've made to like the audio on my OBS. If I have something to say about the song that we're listening to, I can't really say much because again, it won't appear on the VOD. I'll feel a little self-conscious about that, so I'll try to force myself. I'll try to force myself and not say anything about it. But the thing is, right? And I'm gonna think about this every single time that I hear this song from now on. This probably the first time I've heard the song, but you know, if I hear the song in the future, main thing that I'm going to be able to remember from this is that it sounds a lot like the Switch sound effect. I needed to put my truth out into the world. I'm sorry. Oh, that's actually a nice shape. Work on something else? Well, whichever one's due first is probably the one that should take priority, right? And if neither of them are due first, do the one that you originally wanted to work on. Being decisive is a good thing. Let's see here. Maybe like that? Yes. Okay, we'll add a couple more of these here and there. Yeah, first things first, I need to like make sure that this thing is as flat as it can be for the ones like that are smaller. I don't think there's going to be a scenario where we need one this big. I think it fits better if it's like smaller like this. Let's see here. Now they're due for anything, but one I was hoping to finish today since it's small, but the huge project is fun to work on, even if it's just planning. Yeah, that's a dangerous trap is when the planning is more fun than the actual work of the project. You know, like I love writing ideas for like comics and stories and all that, but I actually suck at executing them. I've gotten a little bit better about it recently, but it's still one of my weak points. Let's see here. Shrink this down here. Okay. I also need to shrink the second circle down a little bit in such a way that it doesn't interfere with this. Oh, would having it have like that kind of crescent moon effect be better though? Oh yeah, also we need to get these guys upward so they match with the other side. A little bit more symmetrical. There we go. Grab this over here. Perfect. Planning and writing the project are fun. I'm just trying to plan more so I don't get stuck in a spot where I don't know where to take the writing next. Yeah. Yeah. There's that phrase, right, that like done is better than perfect, but sometimes it's a struggle just even to get it done. Yeah. I find that often that having like very strong personalities or characters running around that really want something really helps a lot with that. Or at least trying to avoid getting situations where you get the writing stuck. Because like, you know, you put people in a situation, that's great. You've achieved step one, but then getting people seeing what people do outside of situations. Because, they can't just be perpetually in a situation. That's just narratively exhausting, right? So it's kind of having them be outside of situations that also take some difficulty to get used to, I find. Like, yes, you made them shine during this like action sequence here, but what are they going to do after? What do they do after like all the bullets are done flying and like all the debris has landed? That's what I found was kind of like my good niche was just like writing action scenes and then just like having them go out. I think it might be it might be partly because I've just read so many comics. So I can think of like sequences for action very clearly in my imagination. But a lot of the rest of it and getting people from point A to point, getting people between those cool situations is what is like where I still need to work. Or even figuring out how they end up in those situations in the first place. Yeah, the before and after I think are my weakest points at least. But I'm learning all the time, right? Hmm. Okay. Here we go. Right here. I don't know why I keep drawing like these parts misaligned. Like they need to be a little bit more symmetrical than they are. Hmm. Let's see here. Simplify vector line. Here we go. Oh god. Okay, maybe we need to simplify it slightly less. There we go. Okay, and then... Perfect. Yeah, like, I feel like these guys need to be, like, more... How to put it? Pointy? Hang on. Let's simplify them just a little bit more. I see. Okay, so it's got a good bit of exposition beforehand to drive it forward. I see. That's certainly a way to go about it. Wait. Hang on. I gotta disappear this control point right here. There we go. Actually, while we're at it, let's disappear a couple more. Here, 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 and here. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, that's kind of the shape that I wanted to go for. Let's try doing that with a couple of these other ones. Then we might be able to just get one good one and then just use that for everything. Okay, let's see here. Actually, we need to make this one just a little bit smaller. Like right here. Here. And here. We can also drag a couple of these down here. I feel like I'm setting these out like caltrops. Over here. And over here. Now, that's looking mighty fine if I do say so myself. Alright, I'm gonna take a little stretch here. I should drink some water too. Okay. So then I think the next part is this kind of like big donut thing in the background here. Theoretically, the way I'm going to work this doesn't require me to have any line art whatsoever, but I feel like I'm more comfortable having it than not having it. Let's see here. Redraw line width. Way smaller for this one. Might even include it, actually. We can just make it so small that it's like hiding here. I feel like having it is better than not having it. Just by the way that I'm going to be working. Copy that. Increase that here. Then over here, we'll add the second one. But yeah, planning first. Yeah, there is that thing about like carts and horses, right? I don't know. I've never owned a horse, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you need them. If you need a cart before you get the horse, I feel like the horse is happy enough to just hang around. You know, horses don't seem like particularly ineffable beings. Although that again, that could just be my own perception because I've never owned a horse before. They could be real. They could be real nutters for all I know. I don't know. Horses, man, they don't make sense. Never really got them. Here we go. There we go. All right, and now we can work on the rabbit silhouette. We should probably do that on a separate layer. We could probably get rid of the sketch lines too, now that I think about it. Oh yeah, I forgot that I accidentally put all the sketch lines on the rabbit layer sometimes. Oh well, what can you do? Let's see. Okay, and then that's going to kind of come in like... Actually, we can just get rid of this layer for now. Okay, let's see here. What do you use to draw? Clip Studio Paint is my program. I use a Huion... What's it called? Huion 1060 Plus for my tablet, and I also use one of those number pads for... What do you call... to like switch between my tools frequently. You know, some people have one of those like toolbox thingies. I use a numpad. You know, one of those detachable ones. The one across my keyboard is useful, but it's also on my right hand side, which means I can't use it and my left hand at the same time. Does that make sense? Let's see here. I don't know if that's the information you were looking for, but that's what I got. Let's see here. Okay, idea. We use this part here to kind of show the... No, hang on. Something ain't right here. Maybe right here? I think this might be where the problem lies. Okay, here we go. Then over here. Program looks like something that's similar to what I use, and I was wondering if it was the same. What program do you use? I mean, I didn't always use Clip Studio Paint, right? The first art program that I used was probably a copy of Photoshop Elements that came with my first pen tablet, and then I went on to use Fire Alpaca and one called Metabang Paint Pro, which is also more or less by the same team that does Fire Alpaca. But yeah, Clip Studio Paint has just so many useful features, and it's a one-time fee. So I kind of snatched it up one day, and I never looked back. Yeah, what does the rabbit in this look like? Why is your body so long, little man? Don't remember what it was called since I haven't used it in a long time. Save to a USB, and I don't remember where the USB is. Oh man. Yeah, saving programs to a USB is a funny thing, except when you lose the USB. Not so funny after that. Stubby-legged rabbit. It's just got its arms folded somewhere that I can't see, but yeah, this thing is looking rather stubby-legged indeed. It's doing its best to survive out in the world, though. It has to live every day its life like this. Let's see here. How are we for time? We still got about an hour left. Let's see. Maybe there's like a way to... Hang on. Maybe we can like iconicize it a little bit, right? No, that looks... Okay, I need to retain the curvature because otherwise it looks like a flipper. Tried to follow and it didn't work? Huh. That's weird. Let's see. Control, simplify, adjust line width, connect. Here we go. Keeps on following. It is a little weird. Well, don't sweat it. You can always tune in. You can always try and tune in. Yeah, maybe better luck another day as well. Just shrink this whole thing down a little bit. Oh, there you go. Do rabbits jump like that? Let me take a couple other looks at these reference images that I had cooking. Yeah, they could probably do it like that. Oh yeah, look at him go. But it needs to be a little bit lower and with a little bit... Okay, hang on. So the leg would have to be a little bit lower. Like that. Yes, Banuis. Maybe like that. I feel like I need to like... There we go. I need to fix up that tail now, but I feel like that's much closer to what I was picturing. Let's see. Now they need to be bigger. But then how do I fit them all in? Making Discord server and I went back to it and now I'm live again from something I made. Oh yeah? Nice work. It's always the best when you can laugh at the stuff that you make yourself. Okay, so then maybe what I can do is actually I can like squish it like this a little bit. Okay, and then I can fix up the tail back here. I'll figure out the 2023 at the end. I'll probably just use normal text for that. Okay, let's just put everything in order here. Let me actually grab the blue from this wrapper. Channel's called Limbo, and it's basically a public trial for folks that were being jerks. Is that how Limbo works? Never been there, so it might be. Let's see. Okay. Okay, not bad. It's a little chubby, but I think that works for our purposes. Okay. Then right here. Okay, I'm not sure if I should make this part here. Okay, so I kind of want to make the background here black. Let's see, right here, 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 and here. And okay, this part here is going to be orange because it's supposed to be like a life preserver. I am wondering what I should make this a bright color though, like the color of this light here. Maybe some kind of white? No, that's not right. It's gonna have to be like. Yeah, I remember they did something like that in RuneScape as well, right? Like where they would kind of publicly trial you. Like if you were caught like cheating by one of the like game mods or something, they would like put you to stocks. Could be good as pale yellow. I actually wanted to try this kind of like bright red and see how that worked for me. I can always do additional work to. Yeah, because I think the vibe that I wanted for these was like similar to a Hanafuda card, so maybe I should look up some of those. Or a postage stamp, but Hanafuda cards as well. Let me take a look through the Wikipedia article. Okay, so this is an 8-plank bridge Hanafuda card, which seems like a good one to start with. Deer might also be good. Bush warbler. Curtain. And then there's this guy whose name I will 100% butcher. Ono no Michikaze, who was a calligrapher and a prominent calligrapher during the Heian period. Huh? How about that? But yeah, that gives me a good idea for like. Still got this bunny picture open. All right, hang on. Here we go. All right. Okay, how about this part as bright white? Sure, white like that. Let's see. Actually, hang on. Maybe I need to have more of these light spice kind of coming in through here. Kind of like as a continuity thing. Because this area right here feels very empty. Let's see. Okay, close that down a little bit. Then over here, what should be done? I've got an idea for how I can do this even without the 2023 there then. Don't always do it like this. Here we go. Okay, I think I've got it now. Perfect. Okay. Now then, let's keep cooking. And I feel like I should probably get rid of the pale yellow border here for now. While I'm at it. Just temporarily. Actually, come to think of it, hang on, let's just get rid of this part here first. This would be better served by being further down. There we go. Then right here. Perfect. Actually, in retrospect, having this one little diamond here stand out like that feels strange, so I'm going to replace it with one of the other ones. Oop. Actually, hang on. This might be a good idea to see how well it's going. Oh, yeah. The plan's coming together. All right, keep going. Okay. Hey, Skillsies, how's it going? We are making a ton of sparkles today. How's your day been? How you doing? Pull up a chair. Good, got home from work. Now just vibing. Ah, that's the best. Yeah. Saturday evenings are meant to be enjoyed after all. Let's see here. Yeah, earlier I was thinking about the snow, right? Like I thought that I would have hated it once it finally snowed. At least be somewhat respectable. That's not true. I'm expected to be very respectable at Thanksgiving dinner with my aunts. I'm just not sometimes. I'm just kidding. My aunts are sweet people. Love the snow. Yeah, I don't know why I expected myself to dislike the snow so much. I dislike a lot of parts about winter, mainly the cold. I am not good at dealing with the cold, right? So I expected myself to be like utterly against the snow, but then it finally snowed. I'm like, wow, it's so much brighter inside everywhere because like all the light is reflecting from the snow. So it's always nice to have like a little something good to go with something you weren't expecting to be nice, right? Let's see here. All right, let's look here. Maybe having the donut be red would be a good idea. Oh, yeah, okay. Winter Wonderland aesthetic. Okay, then maybe we can have it almost like this. Then we can have the darker part in the background be either key black or this kind of dark tone. Let's see how this looks once we get the rabbit in here. Once we deploy the Banui. Alright, let's see. Alright, get that out of there. And then add the rabbit. Oh, the rabbit is clashing really badly. Okay, hang on. Oh, orange rabbit. Okay. We've got a good thing kind of started here, but we need like something else about it because I feel like okay, there's a lot of different things that I could point out first, but I think like ooh, okay. Good. Okay, rabbit with a red eye? Good. Rabbit looking like it's being attacked by a bunch of tiny spikes? Bad. I don't that's not the message we're trying to send. Alright. Let's just fill it in with a gray tone. Rabbit playing Hades. God, yeah. Imagine you're the moon rabbit making your annual trip to Earth, and all of a sudden you start to hear like. Actually, I don't know any other tracks from the Hades soundtrack just yet. In the Blood, I think is one of them. You start to hear In the Blood all of a sudden. Actually, you can probably like drop the rabbit down even further. But again, there's that concern of making it look like it's being skewered. But I think we can resolve that a little bit with the bit here. Pop the bunny belly. No! Please, come on. It's his year. You really gonna do the rabbit like that on the year of the rabbit, 2023? The year of the rabbit on the Chinese zodiac? That year? The year of the rabbit? You do him like that? He's just a little guy. He's a little birthday boy. It's his birthday. It's his birth year. Yeah, on this year, approximately 48 cycles ago, rabbits were born on Earth for the first time. It was a huge deal. The craze instantly caught on. It was like if Pikachu was a real animal. Hey, you're the one drawing the picture here, not me. Let's see. It kind of looks like it's in a disco or something. Okay, I think what I can do then is actually maybe go for my original plan. I'm gonna have to feel bad when I need to murder bunnies in the long dark to survive. Huh. The Long Dark. I think I've heard of that game. Yeah, you don't need to worry about murdering bunnies in like survival games. So they are scoundrelous bastards that have to atone for many crimes and sins. Yeah, they don't tell you this, but all the like all the like normal animals in Silent Hill are just such douchebags. Like they run reactionary Twitter accounts and everything. Yeah, they weren't supposed to tell you this to avoid taking away the gravity of the game, but they are like little beastly douchebags. Every animal in every survival game that you have to kill. So you don't need to feel bad about them. How does that look with the like border effect? Hang on. Where is that border effect anyway? Except for with one exception, the wolf dog from Resident Evil 4 that you can save at the beginning of the game. That thing is your buddy. Where is the yellow border that I had up? Oh, here it is. I wonder if I shouldn't just make this white then as well. I just have regular wolves that try to kill me. Oof. Bummer. Every time I think of like animals in a game trying to kill you, I think of that one Rust video of like a dude getting chased by 16 different bears, and for some reason it has death grips just blaring in the background. It's a good video. It's a quality video. Don't know what the hell's going on, but it compels me. I think I've seen that one. Love it. Honestly, just inserting death grips into anything makes it a lot funnier. Like, there was that one audio post of like somebody making a death grips companion in Fallout New Vegas. And they were like, death grips, look out. What is it? Where is it? How it affect me? But good stuff. Quality stuff. Alright. This deer is honestly one of the best out there. But I am trying to make a blue rabbit here. So here's my idea. I'm gonna copy and paste all of these. And drag them up here, put them in a folder, mail the folder to myself, and then I'll smash it with a hammer. No. Let's see here. Tonal correction. So I'm gonna need to duplicate this thing first. I rewatched The Emperor's New Groove recently, and it's awoken some of the language centers of my brain that I didn't remember having. Oh, this one's nice. This has a nice palette. All right, let's work with this a little bit. Okay, we need to increase the contrast between the orb here and the rabbit, because otherwise it's going to look like the rabbit just has like a big belly. It's just got the world's biggest Audi belly button. Growth? Yeah, that as well, but like my main concern is Audi belly button. Let's see. Pink's not quite right. Ooh, that kind of blue might be nice. Okay, maybe... Ooh, maybe like a light blue like this. Alright, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty decent. Now we just need to add text here. Actually, now that we have this a little bit better differentiated, what happens if we do a couple other tonal corrections? A little bit more gradient mapping. Just shop around a little bit. Again, I kind of like this one. This one feels very nice. Oh, but I really like the kind of tone on this one. All right, let's try to combine these guys. Yo, that one's kind of sick, though. Have a wonderful year of the wabbit. Oh, you wascally wabbit. All right, we've got that one. Okay, we've got that one locked away. Let's try to figure out some of these other ones. Fuck you, the rabbit is now gone. This one's vaguely demonic. This is like the Tower Tarot card, but like if it was a rabbit. Oh, I kind of like this one too. Let's see. What else can we do with this? Actually, I want to try to increase the contrast. Let's try to increase the contrast here a little bit. Ooh. Red and Black gave me the Darkest Dungeon vibes, even though I've never played that. Okay, upping the contrast was definitely the right move. Although I do need to find... Either I need to recolor the rabbit, or I need to recolor the blobs here on the side. I think that's going to end up being the blobs rather than the rabbit. Alright, so... maybe orange of some kind? Hang on. You know, I've heard good stuff about Darkest Dungeons, but I am convinced that I wouldn't have the tenacity to clear a game on that, to clear a file on that. I mean, maybe I would, but I'd rather not have to find out the hard way. Okay, what about... Okay, what if we go again for kind of like a more orange rat? God, no, that's not gonna work. All right, different approach. Yellower rabbit. All right, not bad, not bad. Not quite what I'm looking for, though. Okay, new idea, actually. Hang on. Hold up. All right, how's that look? Okay, Okay, step up for sure. Now I'm thinking that instead of having those like pinkish lines, we have like... Yeah, because I feel like that kind of introduces a more kind of cohesion, a more kind of like cohesive side to it. But then the next item on the agenda, I imagine, would be these like pink lines, making them like this. Okay, I think this the thing in the center isn't working, but these two, for sure, they're working. How are we for time? We've still got like half an hour before I need to end the stream. We can definitely we can fix that out in that time. All right. So here's what we do, folks. We are going to increase the tolerance on this thing and pray to God that it lets us select this part here without actually accidentally selecting the rabbit as well. Come on. Not yet. Apply to connected pixels only? What happens if I don't do that? Ooh, okay. Now we're cooking. No, come on. Why did that not still, like, get that? That's... Hang on. Okay, that helped a little bit. Actually, could I? No, that doesn't make much sense. All right. So, it's come to this then. Just doing everything manually. No, there has to be a smarter way to do this. Okay, we need to increase tolerance even more. How about like 80 tolerance? Okay, no, that just chooses everything. Okay, 67 tolerance. Again, chooses everything. All right, 50 tolerance. Chooses everything. This is a scientific method, people. We have a variable factor and a fixed factor. Yeah, so much for the tolerant left. Yeah, what was that one like Arma screenshot saying like left wing destroyed? Oh wait, maybe if we don't close the gap, that's going to be what we need. Hold up. I can make this work. I think I know how I can make this work. Wait, no. Wait, maybe yes. Hold on. Got an idea. Okay, let's see here. Not what I wanted to do. What about? Okay, I've got yet another idea. Oh, never mind. That's not going to work. Unless no. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Hang on. What if? Okay, even this part still has some of that weird color warping going on there. All right. Wait. Never mind. I think. I'm very close to having a brain genius moment. Select color gamut. This bastard. All right, we can at least eliminate one of these. Wabbit season. No, duck season. Hey, bunny. All right. I'm currently fighting for my life against some of these pixels. How's your evening been going? Yeah. As you can see, I've employed the new and improved sound system, so now it doesn't have one song skipping over, one song looping over and over and over. Yeah, thankfully that won't show up in the VOD at least. I mean, I picked royalty-free lo-fi again. I mentioned this earlier. I picked royalty-free lo-fi just in case, but I'm pretty sure nothing's gonna kind of trip the wire, so to speak. It doesn't hurt to be overly cautious with this sort of thing. A 3 strikes and you're out system means that you can only make mistakes twice. Let's see. Yeah, I was looking into it, and royalty-free music should be good since it's not under DMC or whatever the fuck. Hmm. Yeah, but like I said, I don't want to take any chances. Besides, it's going to be pretty funny once people try and find the bot for this, and they see that I'm just talking into absolute dead silence. I've always wondered what it would feel like to simulate the experience of a Soviet era spy trying to like tap somebody's phone all day and just having to sit there listening to it because they didn't have like any sophisticated technology for it yet. And I think I finally found my answer. You know, we're really getting that old that old school surveillance type vibe where we just hear one dude randomly talking at random intervals. This is a real simulation of having my apartment bugged. I mean, that would be if you were watching the VOD. Yeah, this has. I do appreciate that this has at least opened a whole new slew of methods to goof on the VOD watchers, but not a whole lot of people watch the VODs, I think, to begin with. I think most people are just people who stumble onto this channel and want to like see what's been going on, or you know, if I have friends, they might want to like, or if I have me who wants to go back and catch a certain part of a stream, that's usually what it's for. Yeah, I need to make a channel trailer soon, and I'm gonna be relying a lot on that. I I looked up right. I looked up how those VTuber clippers usually do their thing. Like I googled on YouTube how to become a VTuber clipper because I figured these brain geniuses, they must have some way of like not needing to download the entire VOD for their of fucking Omurapoka before they clip her talking shit about how you only have a single size bed while she has a queen size bed. Like I figured there must be a more efficient way to do it, but it turns out that no, you do need to download the entire VOD and then just like jump to the timestamp that you had. Which frankly makes the jobs of clippers way more hilarious. And potentially concerning whenever they manage to somehow make a clip while the video was running. That's like having this new perspective and knowing this. That's kind of like if you go to like a card magic show and one of the magicians goes like, "Is this your card?" And a magician sitting 2 tables over is like, "No, but this one is," and then they show your card. And like these 2 people don't know each other at all. That's the kind of vibe that I feel like it would have. Well, I suppose it's also like speed, right? Like once you build up enough experience, you get speedier at it. Especially if it's not like a particularly complicated one. If it's just like adding subs and such. Hang on, I'm gonna rotate this so it follows the curvature of my wrist. There we go. Let's see. It bugs me that they have like these like blurry lines, right? Like, or like jaggy lines. Like, this is the one time I'm trying to not make an anti-aliased piece, an aliased piece, and it doesn't want to be anti-aliased. It's just a touch frustrating. I've started to make my piece with anti-aliased brush line work, but I still got a ways to go. Let's see. I hope this doesn't make the circle look weird from a distance. He's going the distance. He's going for speed. Let's see here. How's that look? It's kind of tapering off weirdly here. Hang on. Anything like that? Yeah, okay. I think we've done good work here. Now we just need to slap my name on it and 2023. All right, what kind of font should we use here? Pacific's actually working pretty well for me here. We can just increase that. Just squash it down, why not? I think I can put my logo right above the 2023 if I try to finagle it properly. It was supposed to be a much bigger 2023, but yeah, phrases that'll become relevant again in 12 months. But yeah, the 2023 part of this was supposed to be a lot bigger originally, but then again, a lot of this has changed to begin with. It's always funny when I overestimate how long my logo is. Alright. Like, you would think at this point I would have a good sense of, like, how long it should be, but, turns out no. There we go. Alright. That looks like the finished piece to me. Let's see. Yeah. I'm really happy that I try to apply the different kinds of gradient maps to see what would happen. Alright. Let's go over to the just chatting screen for the moment. Alright. Oh no, I'm in my corner. There we go. Alright, well, thank you all for coming by. I think tomorrow I'm going to be putting out a new schedule, and we'll be seeing what we'll be doing for the next week. But besides that, I hope you can enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will find somebody for us to raid very shortly, but thank you for stopping by, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Later. Bye.